Good evening. It is Sunday, February 21st, 8:30 p.m. That is 2/21/221, right? Or 2021. So, good evening. I'm Nick Angel. This is Awake and Aware. I guess it even says my name right there. Thanks for joining us. So if you're new to the show, tonight, we do a lot of things. We talk about how to keep your mind right, how to keep your body right, how to keep your spirit in line. And sometimes we get kooky and talk about metaphysical stuff. Sometimes we just talk about the physical stuff. But tonight, I think we're going to talk about the metaphysical. Some people call it the law of attraction. Some people call it manifesting. Some people call it creating. Some people call it aligning. But we're going to talk about all that. We're going to talk about how to get what you really want, how to get what you deserve, how to align your desires with who you are so they happen rapidly. Manifestation does not take long if you're doing the right things. So we're going to talk about that tonight. And give me just a second. I'm going to roll the intro and I'll be right back with you guys. I'm up. Welcome. So I am Nick Angel, and this is Awake and Aware. Thanks for joining me. Tonight we are talking about manifesting 101. Why 101 is because what we're going to talk about is good for beginners. Some people don't understand. I invited a bunch of different people to the show. So if you're showing up to the show and you're like, why did you send me this? I don't even believe in manifesting. Well, you might be able to learn something just that keeps you in line with your daily life to keep you happy. How about that? Because we're going to be talking about some emotional stuff, physical stuff. Just want to point out what awake and aware means. Awake and aware is the definition of consciousness. Consciousness is defined as being awake and aware of one's surroundings, right? Or mind, body, and spirit in alignment, or energy being aware of itself. So those three things, if you think of us as being conscious, right? That means that we are in alignment with our mind, our body, and spirit. We call that holistic or holism. That means when we're all those things, we're working on our bodies, we're working on our minds, and we're working on our spirit, and or we're in alignment with those things. And when that happens, man, like all kinds of great things happen. You're not fighting yourself anymore. You're not sabotaging yourself anymore. So one of the things is when those are in alignment, manifestations happen really rapidly. And one of the things, so we're going to talk about manifestation and we're going to talk about creation. But I'm going to start off talking about alignment and what alignment is. So just as the word says, it's in a line. When something is lined up, it means it's in the same path. So if anybody's not familiar with the law of attraction, just go ahead and leave right now. No, I'm kidding. So law of attraction basically states that we put out a frequency and a vibration. And that frequency and vibration comes from our physical, our spiritual, and our mental. But if you just think of it this simply, your frequency is like a channel. It's just like if you tune into channel 1 or tune into channel 2, right? You get whatever program is on that TV at that time. You don't get channel 56 on channel 2. So if you're tuning in, like Lauren's laughing, well, guess what, Lauren? You are tuned in to channel Lauren. So you get what Lauren gets. So if I were to tune into channel Lauren, I would see start to see Lauren's reality. And the things that go on in her life because I'm tuned into her frequency. And that frequency can be based off of proximity, meaning if you live near the ocean, you're going to have experiences that include the shore and the beach, right? And if you live next to a cornfield, then you're going to, maybe have to deal with crows throughout the day and have to put up a scarecrow. So proximity makes a difference. Repetition makes a difference. Same thing. So if you work out every day, well, you're going to be more muscular in your frame, right? And if you just eat chicken pot pies every day, then you're going to be a little less muscular in your frame, right? So those repetition things have an effect on our frequency and what we attract. Now, if you eat pot pies every day, you attract things like maybe diabetes, right? A big gut, right? You see what I mean? Like, so those are things that are attracted to you. But guess what? You could be skinny and then be surrounded with people with big guts and diabetes because you're in the same frequency as them. So the law of attraction basically states, as your frequency is, these are things that you attract and align yourself with. They can be experiences, they can be things, they can be people, they can be dilemmas, they can be the bounties that you receive are in alignment with the things that you are. So that's the law of attraction. It was really made popular in the 90s by a book called The Secret, written by Rhonda Byrne. So if you haven't read The Secret, highly recommend it. It's a little hokey, but it does the job. So it doesn't matter if it's hokey or not. What it does is it basically just talks more about what the law of attraction is and how frequency works and vibration. So basically what it's saying is if you tune into what you want and become that, you will attract it. And it's inevitable. Like they believe, it's written, the way it's written is that it is a law and there's no escaping it. So then my first question was, well, what if I thought of a giant gold brick? Is it just going to fall out of the sky and hit me in the head? Well, that didn't happen, but so there's a buffer with the law of attraction, meaning just because you think of something doesn't mean it's going to show up. But how many times have you thought of a friend and then all of a sudden they give you a call out of the blue? Have you ever experienced that? Right? Or you're thinking about going to school and you're worried about getting a parking spot and you get there and you just can't find a parking spot anywhere because that's what you were thinking about before you got there. So sometimes things take some time and something, but they take some time and they don't just show up immediately. And then some things seem to take years to show up. So for those of you guys just joining us, this is an interactive show. You can leave comments and I can see your comments live and we can bring them into the show and talk about those. And in a few minutes, I'm going to put a telephone number up here and I'm going to take some phone calls. And in those phone calls, I want to hear anything that you guys know that you've manifested that was difficult for you or something that maybe that is elusive and you'd like to know how to get closer to that thing or experience in your life. So all the manifesting aside, I just want to put out a little disclaimer. One thing that I have learned painstakingly is no matter what, when you're working in the realm of manifesting or creating, keep it to yourself. You can send blessings, but don't define how blessings are showing up for people. That's called manipulation. And people don't like to be manipulated. People don't like that energy. It doesn't matter if your intentions are good or not. Leave it open-ended when it deals with other people. Just send them blessings or abundance or prosperity, but don't say this person's got to be there or do this or I want this person in my life. That backfires on you. That's not a good energy. It's likened to witchcraft. It's or voodoo, that kind of thing, because you're projecting your energy onto somebody else, and they may not be going in that direction, and it may cause you some detriment in your life. So I would say keep it to yourself. And absolutely do send people blessings. That is very, very much but just send them the energy and let it manifest in their life how they would like to perceive it. So you're basically sending them high vibrational, high frequency energy that they can use in their lives to bolster what they're already doing, or it'll show up as a boon or a windfall, and that happens. And most people like that. So. But some people are in a state where they're just not ready to bless up. And so that energy is going in a different direction. It's not the same frequency, so it doesn't show up. But what it does do is it sits in waiting until they're on that frequency. Like when they tune into that channel, it shows up, and those kinds of experiences show up for them when they're ready, which is a wonderful thing. So you can always bless people without fear of doing any detriment. It's not that you would do detriment in a person's life. That anybody has to accept whatever you send them. But for them to tune into it without it being manipulative, send it loose-ended, and it'll be received much better. Learn that the hard way, guys. All right. So, for those just joining us, we got a few people in the room. We are talking about manifesting, we are talking about creating, and we're talking about alignment. So, how do you get exactly what you want? How do you get something that's so elusive to you? Like, say I wanted a yacht. Like, let me just validate myself here for just a second as to why I'm talking about because some people on the show may have way more money than me. They may have way more worldly goods, and they may be able to do things that I can't do. But I also get the things that I want in my life. And that's the thing, is what's good for them may not be good for me. Also, what I value may be different than what you value. So me having a yacht while I live in New Jersey, nowhere near the water, isn't my cup of tea. Now, having a friend that owns a yacht, that's definitely my cup of tea. So I have friends that own yachts. So if you want to, so that to me is the same thing as owning, is if I get invited out to go out and hang out on a yacht for the day, for a weekend, to go off to the Bahamas, et cetera, blessings. Like that's perfect for me. You know how much it costs to maintain a yacht? It's a lot of money. So that's not in alignment with who I am today. So that's one of the reasons I don't have a yacht. So people say, well, Nick, how come you're not a 100 millionaire? How come you don't have this? And how come you don't have that? Because it's not in alignment with who I am today and the way that I live my life. And alignment is how I perceive myself with my family, my friends, the people that I'm intimate with, and how other people perceive me make a difference into the things that I believe that I deserve, and also would not throw my whole reality out of whack. I'll give you a good example. Many years ago, I wanted a Bentley, and I thought, man, if I could just manifest a Bentley, I could prove to myself that I could have whatever I want. And because I lived in Augusta, Georgia at the time, and I never saw anybody with actually, I saw one Bentley, and it was James Brown driving it. It was a navy blue. No, excuse me, it wasn't even a Bentley. It was a Rolls Royce. I saw this, and it was the only Rolls Royce I saw in Augusta. And I said, man, I want a Bentley, because that's something I've never seen around here. So I tried very hardly. That's not, I tried extremely hard and put all the effort I could into manifesting a Bentley, a navy blue Bentley. And so a month later, nothing. And I didn't even care if I owned it. I just wanted to see one, and that would be proof to me. Well, I moved to Florida a month later, and I lived a block away from a Bentley dealership. And I saw 200-300 Bentleys every single day, including the navy blue Bentley that I had wanted. It was a block away from me. And then there was even a used car dealership that sold Bentleys. And then another block away was a place that did maintenance on Bentleys. I put myself in a place, because when I say I was putting in effort, I'd go to sleep thinking about Bentleys. I would go to sleep thinking about what the steering wheel looked like, what the exhaust sounded like, what it would be like to clean the tires and the rims, right? Found out everything I could about these cars. And they showed up. They were all over the place in South Florida. I mean, everywhere I went, there was a Bentley. But I didn't own one. So I would tell you, that was the alignment for me. It did not. So now if I had just manifested one, and someone showed up and gave me the keys to a Bentley, and excuse me. So Mom, it's on the Facebook channel. That's all you got to do is go to the Awaken Aware channel. Thank you. It's kind of random that my mother walked into the studio and couldn't find the show. So God bless her heart. She'll join us shortly. Love my mother to death. Or actually, I love my mother greatly. Why would I say to the death? That's such a bad colloquialism. I love her very much. and she is so sweet and so kind. So I was saying, if to manifest a Bentley, if somebody had just given me the keys to one, and just given me a $250,000 car that I had wanted, and it just showed up in my life. And at that time I was making $8 an hour, scrubbing sofas, didn't have a pot to piss in, and barely any clothes on my back. And if somebody had just given me a Bentley, that would have thrown my whole life out of whack. My landlord would have been like, well, how come you can't pay your rent on time? I'm going to need you to sell that car. The insurance would be $6,000 a month. I couldn't afford that. So that's what I'm saying. That would have been out of alignment. So what was in alignment with who I was for something of that nature was to see it every day, to walk past it, and to know that hey, I can bring it into my reality. And I even met some people that own Bentleys. The point is if I really wanted it, I would have to change things about myself, change things about my reality, change things about my relationships that would make a difference to keep that in my reality. Because a lot of people want the Ferrari. A lot of people want the Lamborghini, the big house. But they're nowhere near ready to live that type of lifestyle or to have the type of changes. Some people have family members that just want a piece of them. And if they hit the lottery, would immediately be like, hey, man, you owe me money, et cetera, et cetera. Well, so what do? They go run. And they just hide the money or they just disappear for a while. But is that really what you wanted? Because did you not want your family relationship to stay the same? So if you want big windfalls to show up in your life, you have to recognize that to be in alignment with those things, you have to change. So if there are things in your life that are eluding you, if there are things that you want that you don't already have, you've got to change something. You've got to change your frequency. You've got to change your vibration. You have to change what you're doing in repetition. You have to be willing to sacrifice some things. And when I say sacrifice, I mean, let those things go in the form that they are in your life right now. Sometimes it's people. Sometimes it's a proximity to something, because if you live in a place that that people steal cars 24/7 and the only place that you can park a car is on the street, there's I know plenty people who live in a place where they steal cars habitually and the only place is to park on a street in parallel park. Would you park a $250,000 car on the street? Probably not. It'd probably get plowed in with snow, scraped up, all kinds of things. And you'd be very unhappy about your car sitting there. So it doesn't match your situation, the proximity to where you're at. That makes something like that. It's not that it's not any easier to manifest. It's that you don't believe it's any easier, and it was going to cause you stress to be in your reality. And most of us don't want more stress. We want ease and the ability for things to just flow to us. So you have to think about the things that would easily flow with you, that would be able to gradually grow yourself in alignment. And when you do that, the things that you want to manifest just show up effortlessly, easily. Barely got to even think about them, and they just show up properly. In the book The Secret, I go back to that because it's what turned me on to the law of attraction was The Secret. They mention starting simple, like a parking spot or a cup of coffee. I remember when I first started this, I got a free cup of coffee every day. Free cup of coffee every single day. Now I own a coffee company. I get free cup of coffee every day for the rest of my life. I manifested that. See, that's what I'm trying to say to you is if you start small and keep rolling the energy, it doesn't matter what you want, you can have it. You just have to bring yourself along to be in alignment with the things that you want. So if you want different relationships, you've got to change who you are. Not go find the right person. Everybody's the right person if you're aligned in the right frequency. So as you change your frequency, you will find the right person for you all the time. They're not elusive. Nothing is elusive in the universe. You can have whatever you want. You can pretty much go wherever you want, because I say pretty much because other people have the same expectation of privacy, the same expectation of their reality not being hindered by other people. So, people have claimed space. So no, you just can't go in your next door neighbor's backyard. And I mean, you could, but we would consider that a crime. So the thing is, one of the things I would definitely tell you guys is keep it within the law, and keep it aligned with what you believe to be good and your highest virtues. And it's much easier to manifest. There's no need to be seedy. There's no need to be underhanded. The universe, I don't want to say that the universe doesn't like that. It's just that the universe doesn't support that as well, because the universe is good. It's inherently good. It's inherently wants you to thrive. This whole reality is based on you thriving. Think about it. Warmth, right? Your homeostasis, food, water, air. You have all of that, and you need all of those things to survive. You go without any of those for a very short period of time, you cease to exist. But they're all provided for you practically with very little effort. All of the things that you need to exist are already here. And then the things that you need to thrive are love, right? I'm not going to get in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but love, sense of purpose, and something to fulfill yourself. You feel fulfilled because of those things, and that's what makes you thrive. And then, of course, your needs need to be met. And then the ability to give those things to other people. That's how we live happy and joyous. So now that I've mentioned being happy and joyous, one of the most powerful things that you can do to manifest is be in a state of happiness. So I don't recommend working to manifest anything when you're in a state where you're not feeling well, you're not in a happy state, and if you're stressed out. But if you're, you can work after work, just because you're tired doesn't necessarily, but if you're feeling energetic, happy, joyous, this is a lot easier. And one of the reasons for that is because you can imagine yourself having what you want with joy. Hopefully whatever experience that you're trying to manifest is to bring you and others happiness and joy. So I highly recommend that when you set out to do this, set out to realign yourself, when you're working to readjust your frequency and vibration, that you would do it in a state of joy and exuberance rather than fear, doubt, and worry or pain. Now, what if you have something chronic and you can't get past pain? Well, guess what? You work with the best you can. I'm just saying it's easiest, but when you're in a joyful state. So I'll give you a tool. We've talked about this a few months ago. I did a show with Beth Ann, and we talked about the emotional guidance scale from Esther Hicks had put out, which you start with whatever emotional state you're in. Maybe it's worry. Maybe you're worrying about money and you would like to manifest more money. Well, as you're worrying about money, you are sending out a frequency of the state of lack that you have. Because would you be worried about money if you had millions of dollars? Now, maybe you have a huge debt coming. Say you have $1 million and you got to pay back $10 million. So you could have some worry of some impending doom, and you are manifesting that to yourself rather than manifesting the other $9 million that you need to pay that debt. A state of everything's okay, and you know something's coming, and you've put in the work, and you know that you're going to get paid that $9 million from a client or from a sale of some large piece of merchandise, and you're just waiting for it to clear the bank, that kind of thing. Knows that everything's going to be fine and things will work out. And it doesn't mean that the universe doesn't put what seems like hurdles in your way. So be it. But guess what? True master manifestors hold to their desire, not their want. They hold to what it is they desire and know that it's coming. So I'm going to break down what the rules are. Well, there's no rules. I'm going to break down what a lot of master manifestors say that you need to do to get into alignment and then create, or then manifest and then create and then realign to get the things that you want, to get the experiences that you want. And then I'm going to take some phone calls. So the first thing that's necessary. Oh, let me back up for 1 second, because I really didn't elaborate in the emotional guidance scale. So when you have a state of maybe doubt or worry, you want to be able to move up to the next highest vibrational feeling. It's not happiness and joy from there. It's content or reassurance. So basically what you want to do is you want to focus on a reassuring event that would make you feel less worry and doubt. Focusing on that would help you to quickly and easily shift your frequency to that state of reassurance. Then from there, once you feel reassured, you can kind of move higher into a state of faith and knowingness that this is going to happen. It's easier. It's hard to get from this doubt and worry to the knowingness. And then from there, once you know it's coming, you're good, right? Like, because, I know you don't have to even think about this anymore. You can switch over and think about something else that's going to bring you more joy and happiness. Now you'll be like, I can go watch my favorite show now because that anxiety's gone. So the way the emotional guidance scale works is just to go from the next highest frequency vibration rather than trying to jump from a negative state to a positive state to a high positive state. And then you just keep rolling up until you get to a state of happiness and joy. Those are the places that you're going to be able to manifest the best from. Down here, it's not so much that you can't manifest, it's just that you're really just attracting what you don't want and more of what you don't want. So I know a lot of people deal with anxiety. Well, that's where anxiety comes from, is you're dealing with the reality that is attracting to you from your state of anxiety. And I know it's a vicious circle, and it just seems like it's impossible to get out of that. And that sometimes leads to anger, it leads to resentments, et cetera, et cetera. And sometimes you feel like, well, this is how sometimes people wind up in depression. How do you get out of that state? Well, that's one of the easiest, coolest, simplest ways that I have found is the emotional guidance scale. You can look it up on Google, and you just look up emotional guidance scale. There's a bunch of them. It's just a list of emotions, and you just go from one to the next one, and before you know it, you'll be back in a happy state. And when you're in a happy state, you're thriving. That's when you're attracting your thriving self to yourself. Okay, so steps, rules, laws of attracting and manifesting. So the very first thing that is unequivocally the thing that most people trip over, the thing that keeps things from yourself, is being 100% hyper clear about what it is that you desire. Give you an example. Say you want that Bentley. Do you want a GT? Do you want a Continental? You want 4-door, 2-door, coupe? Do you want the V12, the V8? You want the sport package? Do you want the spoiler? What color paint would you like? What color leather would you like? What type of rims? Where did you buy it from? What year model? How long are you going to have it? What insurance company are you going to go with? All of those answers need to be, if you want something like a Bentley in your life, those are all, listen, some people can just think of a Bentley and just have one show up. It's very not likely they're not going to get the keys and the title to it, though. So another thing somebody else might do to easily get that is manifest a large sum of money and then just go buy one, because that's one way of doing it. And guess what? Manifesting a Bentley is no more difficult than manifesting a large sum of money. The main thing, though, is you need to be hyper clear how it's going to affect your life. It's that simple. But some people struggle with that because they've never experienced it before, so they don't know what to think. So if you're living paycheck to paycheck and you want a windfall sum of cash, you want to hit the lottery, you want to have somebody just find a bag of money in a backyard or something, you have to recognize how that's going to affect you if that came true. What would be different about your life? As you start focusing on how your life would change drastically, you got to recognize all kinds of things are going to be different. What you do tomorrow. If you hit the lottery and had a lottery ticket tonight that hit, what would you do first thing tomorrow? Then what would you do after that? Where would you go eat? How would you get to the lottery center to cash your ticket? What bank account are you going to use? Those are types of things that put you into the frequency of having that. That puts you into the vibration of having that. As you think about that and as you ponder that, so there's some tools that you can do to help yourself get into alignment. You listen, hitting the lottery is you already know the astronomical numbers. There are easier ways of getting money than hitting the lottery. So I don't recommend putting all the time and effort on how to hit the lottery. But having an exact amount of cash that you would like and putting that out to the universe, being hyper focused, don't worry about how it's going to come to you. It will come to you. I have manifested so many things. I could tell you so many stories of the wild and craziest things. I wish I had a clear, when I started, I wish I had a clearer sense of knowing how easily and effortlessly this really works. I would have put some more serious effort into my desires rather than trinkets, baubles, silly experiences with women and girls and clubs and bands and backstage and all different kinds of things that were just, things that I just thought were so wild that nobody could do these things. And then they just started happening. And it was like, Nick, your life's out of control. Well, I manifested that. I put that into my life. Those were life experiences that I thought that I needed to have to prove to myself that I was in control. And in the process, I lost control because I didn't have any understanding of outcomes or what it was that I really wanted. And I didn't really understand the effects of manifesting things that were so far from my experience, so far from my alignment, that it really caused me, I don't want to say suffering, but I started to live a life that wasn't mine, and I didn't feel comfortable anywhere doing anything with anyone because it was so out of alignment with who I really was. But because I was putting in the effort, things were showing up that I was asking for. Cars, jobs, buildings, people, everything, you name it. I've seen it. I've pretty much gotten everything I've put into my bag has spit back out. Every single thing. And when I get to the big stuff, it'll be big and it'll be grand, and I'm working to get there. And but it's also the little stuff that's very important to me today too. And the safety of my family and the welfare, the well-being of my family is top priority for me. I love this. So Holly, I'm reading this out because this becomes a part of the podcast as well. So Holly Rose says, you manifest exactly what you needed for soul growth. That's absolutely true. It's got me to where I'm at, and that's why I feel comfortable sharing about manifestation today. And I know so many people that I know are ready to really start using it in their life and get past the fear, doubt, worry, the state of lack, and recognize that abundance, prosperity, wealth are just as easily to manifest as a cup of coffee or a parking spot. So step one, get hyper focused, get hyper clear. Next is a tool that can be used. It's called visualization. So visualizing yourself in the experience. So some people don't want money. Some people don't need more money. Some people don't need a new house. Some people don't need a new car. Some people want partners in their life. Some people want romantic experiences. Are you ready for that? If every day you eat by yourself, Every day you go to bed in a bed that has junk on the other side of it. Every day you eat the same thing in the same restaurant. Every day you go to bed at 6 p.m. or 7:30, or you have a routine that is all about you and the things that you like. How does that align with a romantic partner? Doesn't at all. It's not the frequency of it. So what I recommend is preparing yourself, what we call holding space, hold space for having a partner. But start doing the things and thinking about what you would do. Like, where would you take somebody on a date, or where would you like to go on a date? Where would you like somebody to take you on a date to? And visualize that. Now, visualizing means that it can be in your head, imagination, right? Before you go to bed, after you wake up. Some people do what's called vision boarding. It's where they literally take a board and start putting pictures up on it. And maybe it's a car, maybe it's a person, maybe it's a type of man or woman that you'd like to date, and they hold pictures of those. Now, they're not generally, if you put a picture of Brad Pitt, you're not getting Brad Pitt. It's and if you're trying to put that kind of energy into it, that's that stalking type behavior. But if you're looking for your Brad Pitt, whatever that is, that's an entirely different story. If you're looking for whatever your energy's version of Brad Pitt is, then yeah, absolutely. That's all welcome to you, and the universe will provide that for you. So visualizing. But in the state of visualizing, there's another very effective tool, and that's feeling. Feeling that you have something, feeling that it already exists. Feeling that whatever you want in your life is already there. So to all my master manifestors that are on with us, bear with us. We're going to get to some of the more powerful stuff here in just a minute. But I just want to we're going through the roots of it for those who are new to manifesting. And also, it never hurts to refresh your foundation, does it? So feeling that you already have the thing that you desire, or the experience that you desire, or that you're in the relationship that you desire. Now, some people tell me, oh, well, I can't visualize. I don't have a real good imagination. Well, that's where the feelings come in great. So what would it feel like to have somebody, take you out and buy you dinner and take you to an amusement park? What are the feelings that you get from that? Because guess what? There's nothing higher than happiness and joy and bliss, right? You can experience those feelings without actually being in that state. And you are attracting the things that cause those feelings because you're choosing those feelings. And when you choose something, you're telling the universe you want more of it. So beautifully, if I say, I want to be happy, I want to be joyous, and I want to experience bliss, like, for me to get there, to those states, like, I can feel what it's like to be on a carnival ride right now. Like, I can to be walking around with somebody else in my arm and winning them a stuffed animal, et cetera, et cetera. Like, I know what that feels like. And I would like more of that, but that's what I'm telling the universe by, in the situation, there's nothing around me right now that would make me feel like a Ferris wheel will. But if I started to think about that and how that I would like that and how that would make me happy, I am putting out to the universe that I would like that experience. And before you know it, I'll be sitting in an experience where I'm doing some type of amusement type thing with somebody, that a significant other or a romantic interest type thing, if that's really what I wanted. It's that simple. I know I say it's that simple until you practice it. It's one of those things, the more you practice it. But again, here's the thing. You want to get hyper clear. Then you want to feel that you already, and then you want to visualize yourself doing that. So, like, I'm 2 steps away from everything that I've already talked about visualizing in the show already. Like, I can literally just pick up a phone call and be like, hey, you want to go out? Sure. Okay. So you've used the emotional scale to bring yourself into alignment. You're visualizing the thing that you want. You become hyper clear on what it is. You even have pictures of it. You've say it's a BMW and you've looked at every spec of this car that you want, or Jeep, or whatever it is. And you've seen how much it cost, but you don't have the money for it. You feel like this is too far from. I'm going to give you an example. A couple years ago, I wanted a Jeep, and I got a letter in the mail from the local Jeep dealership that all I had to do was show up, and they would give you. They were giving away Jeeps, literally. And I was riding around with my mom, and I told my mom, I said, yeah, I even showed her the Jeep. I said, I want one of those, and I couldn't afford it at the time. And I got a letter in the mail. Literally, she saw it, and I had the poster. It came with a poster, and it had nothing but Jeeps on it. Like, what do you think the odds of me just getting a letter in the mail on how to win a Jeep? And all I had to do was go down there and put my hand on it and be the last person standing there with my Jeep, and I'd have won it. I didn't go. I don't own a Jeep. I bought a different car because I changed my mind. I wasn't hyper clear on what I wanted. And that's why but I want an iPad from them, from the Jeep company. I want an $800 iPad for responding to it. So, I'm just giving you examples of being hyper focused, in alignment with your emotions, visualizing, which is your mind, right? Now, physically, what you need to do is put this in a repetition. And the best times to do that are when you're in a good mood, but also right before you go to bed, because it's the equivalent of reprogramming your memory. That is, if you already had it for that day. And if it existed in that day, the universe looks back and says, man, how come they're so happy about having a Bentley, but they don't have one? I think we as the universe have made a mistake, and we need to go ahead and fix that. So as energy goes in the most direct path, so does the universe. It will also try to put whatever's missing immediately. It says, wait a minute, you're happy, you're visualizing this thing, like everything you're doing says you have it. So the universe thinks it made a mistake and just gives it to you. That's how it works. So in a sense, it's kind of like playing a game. How can we fool the universe into giving us what we want today? If you think about it like that, it'll work. It's good for you. So now I bet you a lot of people have gotten to this point, practiced this point, and failed. And then they just say, but the law of attraction just doesn't work. I got the coffee. I got the parking spot, right? If I think about a color too long or a certain type of car, I see it on the road. If I think about a number, I see it on license plates. Sometimes I even say something and it shows up in the television show I'm watching. Or I'll think about a mansion and the perfect mansion shows up on TV, but it's not showing up. And then you get discouraged. And then you change your mind and you just say, you know what? I want a sandwich, or I want to go to bed, or that's whack. I don't want to play with that anymore. So, that kind of thing happens. But I tell you, to get what you want, you can't do that. Now, there's an old saying by a guy named, they deemed him the most evil man, but it doesn't matter. He made a statement that's pretty true when it comes to manifestation. He said, do thy will and then do nothing else. That was Aleister Crowley. But I mean, just think about it. Do thy will, then do nothing else. And the purpose of that is putting out the frequency to the universe means you have to let it go. But if you start working immediately on something else, you're gone into attract. So if you just say, I'm in an attracting state and I want a car, and then you say, oh, I want a sandwich. Oh, I want this. I want that. Your frequency is all of those things, and just it's not really, it doesn't work. How about that? I'm not saying it can't work. I'm just saying you're going to have to match the chord of luck at the same time to get lucky with what you want in that sense. But when you're hyper focused on one specific thing or one experience, it doesn't even have to be one. It could be that you want to have multiple experiences. The point is, you have to let it go. You have to send out, it's like sending out a complete thought, not half a thought. So when you stop and do nothing, you're saying, that's what I want. This, just like I described it, that's what I want. But if you don't stop wanting it, you're still sending out the frequency of wanting. And wanting is the frequency of not having. So as you just sit around like, man, I want this. Oh man, how come this is not? You're actually shifting to that frequency and attracting that frequency and vibration experiences to yourself. So you have to be careful of not saying, I want this, but focusing on having it. And the beauty is when you move into the state of havingness, the state of allowing, the state of alignment, you feel it. Then you can let it go and then move on with the knowing that it's coming. And this is where a lot of people also tend to trip up, is because now the most powerful thing you can do is to be in a state of gratitude for what you've already sent out, to know that it is showing up. So now you carry on about your day, your week, or however long, as if this thing is already coming to you. That it is already there. That you know it is. It's like, let me look in this catalog and see what I want today. Listen, it took me 5 years to manifest this hat. I know that seems really weird, except if you go on Nike.com, they don't sell this hat. It's not available. It hasn't been available on Nike.com for the last 5 years. You go to Dick's Sporting Goods, they don't sell this hat. They sell something similar to it, but they don't sell this hat. There's some hats that have a check and it says Nike underneath of it. Similar. This is, for me, some other people have seen this hat. It took me 5 years, and this was the hat that I wanted 5 years ago. It took me 5 years to get in alignment to find this hat. And I really did I found it on a bin in a store underneath some stuff. And I was looking for it. But one of the things is I wanted it. I just wanted it. And I never thought about having it. I never used the tools to manifest it. I was always in the state of, I want that. That's something that I really, really want. It's just a black Nike hat with a check on it. Like something so simple eluded me for so long until I found a gray one like it. And then once I had the gray one, I was like, oh, okay, well, good. I let it go. That's when I let it go. I was like, all right, I got one. Great. It's not black, but whatever. I was happy with it. And because the other one gave me happiness, this one showed up not even a week later. That's all it took. So the state of gratitude is the amplifier. It's the thing that maximizes the thought, the frequency, and the vibration that you put out. So beauty is like, I just took, what has this been, 20, 30 minutes? I just took 45 minutes, a half hour to describe getting to the state of gratitude about what you want. And it doesn't take that long. It doesn't take you a half hour to do this. Some people believe that it only takes 7 minutes to manifest whatever you want. Have you ever thought about anything for 7 minutes? Have you ever stayed focused on one thing for 7 minutes? Probably not. Now, I would tell you that I've manifested everything that, not every experience, things with heights. I have not been to the Himalayas, and I probably never will. I'd like to take some pictures up there. But I am definitely not going to climb the mountain. I'm not going to skydive, So these are things that I know that I won't do, but they're like dabbling in my mind. I'm like, oh, I would like to do that, but I'm not going to. But some of you guys know that I recently walked across the Philadelphia Bridge last year, and that was my biggest fear as a child, because I used to drive over that bridge and just thought people that walked across that were crazy. Like, how could you do that? It's so high up. It's so scary. It's so behemoth. That was my biggest childhood fear, and I approached that. And if my boy Jobo is out there listening, shout out to you, man, because he walked with me like I was a little kid while other people are, walking and running and jogging, and I was just baby step, baby step, baby step. I'm a grown man taking baby steps, but guess what? I did it. Manifested that at some point in time in my life that I was going to be able to overcome that fear. I'm not afraid of heights. I have a phobia of heights. So I can look in the face. I can take care of it, and I can do what I need to do to get past that. That makes it real simple to, when you know that you can face your fears, it makes it a little bit more simple to become clear on what you want. Because a lot of times people are fearful of making a decision. You don't want the black car, or do you want the gray car? Some people are fearful that if they choose the gray and they get the black, they're not going to get what they want. And that indecisiveness is literally what's keeping them from the car that they desire. Or, man, if I live over here, then I'm not going to be able to do this. You've got to be able to face yourself and make those tough decisions because once you get clear, I'm telling you, there's nothing that's going to stop you from manifesting the things that you want, as long as they're in alignment with yourself. This stuff works. Try it out. If you're new to this and you don't believe in this, you don't have to believe. I promise you. See about getting a free cup of coffee tomorrow and see how that works out for you. Think about the color purple and see how, I got some purple right here. So don't do it right now, but go in a room where there's no purple, and then think about, just spend 5 minutes thinking about purple, and then turn on the TV. Go watch a show. See how much purple shows up in that show. And you'll be like, what? Yeah, you can affect the television shows that you're watching. You affect the movies that you're watching. I'm born on the 27th. Every movie I watch has the number 27 in it. It's on the license plate. It's on the call signs on the battleship. It's the prison number of Andy Dufresne in the Shawshank Redemption. It's my whole birthday. Like everywhere I look, I see it's because it's my frequency, and I am attracting that frequency into my reality. It's that simple. And you can do the same thing. This doesn't require anything cool. You don't have to have a degree to do this. You don't have to come from a rich, wealthy family. Everybody has this ability. We're all, like Esther Hicks says, we are on the leading edge of creation. You are an observer of the universe, and you are creating the universe. Some like to say, God created created you in his image. That's the image as a creator. You are a creator. You get to shape reality. I tell you, don't do mean things or cruel things. Do nice things. Create things in the world. Many people, I hope that you have some experience with me. If you know me, then you know this is real, because I manifest on a daily. We make stuff happen in the universe. We try to make the world a better place. We try to make experiences for more people. We build things that help handicap people. We do things to help people who are deserving of needing help but don't even know that help's available to them. That's one of the things. So once you get all the stuff that you've ever wanted out of the way, like now it's time to give back. Because your manifesting will get even more rapid when you're doing it where you can benefit many, many people. It happens much, much faster on a much grander scale. So I said I was going to take some phone calls. Let me put this number up, and we're going to see if anybody's got any cool manifesting stories or something that they're eluding them. Reach out. Either one of those numbers. Brian said, I've asked for stuff in situations that I have thought I wanted and have gotten it to realize later that is not what I needed. For me, praying for proper placement is a better approach. Absolutely, sir. See, that's really, that's why we tell you to start small. Because once you start knowing that you can, it becomes inundating, because you start to recognize, man, if I'm trying to manifest the wrong things, then it's throwing your life out of whack. And then, I remember asking for stuff and then getting it, and I was like, man, God, can you take this out of my life? Because this is not what I wanted. It's like the grass is always greener on the other side. So yes, once you really master this, the open-endedness of what's right for me, what's in alignment for me, is so much better than things and defining things and allowing because the universe has got its infinite mind or infinite power, energy. God has its infinite power and energy. It knows better than I do. I'm just this little guy floating around on this rock. And the things that I think that I want are only just been shown to me and look like, oh, well, that would be nice, or that would make my life better. You know, I asked for more luxury in my life. I got more luxury in my life. I didn't have to say, let me have a yacht or a Bentley. I got what fits with me. I can afford my car payments. I can afford, the things that go along with it. But if I had a Bentley, I couldn't afford that right now. The $6,000 a month in insurance would wreck me. So, getting what you want is not always, I think there's the song by the Stones is you can't always get what you want. Actually, I think you can always get what you want, but, well, not necessarily what you want, but you get what you are. All right. Sue's calling in. Good evening. This is Nick in Awake and Aware. Who do I have on the line? Hello? Oh, hang on just a second. Can we hear you? Can you hear us?
Williams.
Hey, Brian. Good evening. How are you, sir? Sounds like we got a bad connection, Brian. I can't hear you. I heard you for just a second.
Okay. My ear was. Can you hear me now better?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Great. Look at that. You called in. It's 9/27. That's my birthday. 9/27. Right on. Right. Exactly.
I thought Bentleys were cool, and I was going to a meeting in Atlanta and was late to the meeting, and I just happened to see. As a result, I happened to see.
What'd you see, Brian?
I happened to see Elton John driving the Bentley, and it was because I was late that I got to see him right at the next parking lot.
Nice. See? What the heck?
But for me, I didn't even, it was cool. But with stuff in nature, there's been such a lot of times, many times when I've asked to see something, and bald eagles in Georgia. I mean, I wanted to see lava, and I got to poke lava with a stick. That was a really cool thing for me.
Nice.
And like thinking about a certain type of squirrel on the rim of the Grand Canyon and waiting. Well, I want to see this squirrel. And then at the last day, the last hour before I was leaving, there's the squirrel, the certain type of squirrel.
So
when Jacksonville, man,
it's right when you let go of it that it showed up, huh?
Right. But I don't really let go. But then riding my bicycle, just riding by the river here in Jacksonville, and thinking, I want to see a manatee. And then within just a couple of minutes, I looked down there, and there's a manatee. I mean, stuff like that. I have thought that stacks of money in a safety deposit would make me happy, but it's more of the things in nature that make me more happy at this stage of my life. So thanks.
So one of the things I want to point out is if you were laying in bed and wanting to see a manatee and never get out of bed, what do you think your chances of seeing a manatee would be?
Right.
So you had to take some action. So that's the alignment. You have to be physically in alignment, as well as mentally and spiritually in alignment with the thing that you would, or the experience that you would like to have, right?
Right.
Sometimes, so being willing to do those things, like, so if you want to go skydiving, and face a fear of jumping out of a plane, et cetera, well, you're going to have to come up with the money. You're also going to have the willingness to go. You're going to, like if you work Monday through Friday and the skydiving place is only open Monday through Friday, you've got to know that you've got to be willing to take a day off. Just thinking about those things brings you into alignment with those types of experiences. If you want to see something in nature like a bald eagle or something of that, like you have to go where bald eagles are, like to think, just stand in your backyard and say, I want to see a bald eagle. You're not really in alignment. The proximity, it's not likely. I'm not saying it can't, but then you have to cross the line of luck for it to show up. Is that right, Brian? Is that working for you?
Right. But it's like when my mama died, that's when the bald eagle came and flew over my house. The owl showed up in the tree right by her window. It's like, those are things that were really, really cool.
Nice. Yeah. I hear it's a common thing that I hear, that after somebody passes, some type of bird tends to show up, or something that was in alignment with that person. I know last year or the year before last, when my grandmother passed and we were all sitting, we were actually at her burial service. Somebody had mentioned, like, literally that Nanny was a butterfly, and you can't make it up, but a butterfly came down and landed for us, right on her burial site. And we all watched it. We all saw it flutter in and just clear, and just said, yeah, like there it was. That's exactly what we needed. Everybody felt better and knew that everything was okay and that she was well from that, so I think it's wonderful that those types of things show up for people. And they're so beautiful. So Brian, I appreciate you calling in, but let me ask you real quick before I let you go. Is there anything that's elusive to you? Anything that you've been trying or want, or that you feel like, you could use some help having it show up in your life?
Well, I had somebody ask me that recently, a therapist that I was seeing, and it's like, a healthy relationship. I mean, that is something that, I've had some issues with before. The relationships weren't really that healthy, and so it's like, so I have some fear of that.
So, well, first off, you got to get past the fear, right? So what you got to do to get past that fear. So opening up, if you want to put your toe back in the water again, knowing that you've had some not healthy relationships in the past, to then get a healthy relationship, you're going to have to let go of the past unhealthy relationships, right?
Really cool.
Because if you're constantly in a state of fear of another one, you're most likely just going to attract another one, and you don't want that. And that's one of the reasons why you're probably not manifesting it, is because you really don't want it, because you're fearful that it's going to be same or similar to what it was. So what I would recommend is getting into a state of newness, of experiencing something that you've never had before. It's not a thing that you've, if you're not familiar with it, then that's fine, because you can manifest the experiences of having totally new experiences, new wonderful experiences. So that's what I would do, and that's called holding space. Hold space for the potential partner, of having experiences that are totally new to you, that are healthy for you and that person, and know that you would do the things that would be healthy for you. And for that person. You also have to, because when you're putting out that energy, you're also attracting that energy.
Okay.
So I'd highly recommend those.
I'm going to hang up now.
Okay. So, Brian, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us and sharing with us tonight, and sharing the stories that you had, especially the Bentley with Elton John.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, Brian, have a wonderful night. Nice. So there were a couple calls while I was on the phone with Brian. So if anybody would like to call in again, please just pick up the phone and dial it back, and we'll bring you on the show. Thanks, Brian, for joining us. And so what a show. So if anybody's got questions, you guys can throw questions in. Here we go. And good evening. This is Nick Angel at Awake and Aware. Who do I have on the line?
Debbie.
Hi, Debbie. How are you tonight?
Good. I had a question for Nick.
Okay. What do you got? Shoot.
I wanted to ask him about being he's asking if there's something we really want and we don't understand why we're not getting it. I've been wanting a condo for me and my husband, and we've been shopping for one, and it's just not happening, and it's going on 2 years. I thought maybe he could shed some light on that.
Okay, so is it a specific condo? Do you know the place that you want the condo? Like when you say it's not happening, is it not that they're not available? Or are you having trouble with financing? Or what do you think the hang up is first off?
I don't know. It's baffling me.
Well, is it a money thing, or is it finding the right condo?
No. As far as the alignment, I have saved money. I have money for it, big down payment, so it won't put us in debt.
So it's finding the right condo then.
No. I have the area picked out. It's just not happening, and I'm not understanding it. And it's been 2 years, like I said.
So you know where you want to go.
Yes.
Are there any for sale? Is that
very infrequent? Like every now and then there is one, and something's up with it that I can't get it, whether it be the wrong model or I'm outbidded, something.
Okay. So are you ready to move?
Yeah, we're ready to move.
You're packed?
No, I'm not packed.
Okay. So if you move, so you and your husband have to move. Are either of you working proximity to where you're going, or are you guys both retired?
No, we're not retired yet. We're 60.
Okay.
So we have another 5 years, but we're not packed, but we are ready.
So have you picked out a moving service?
No, I haven't.
Do you have a realtor?
Yes, I do, and I did change that this year.
Okay.
I felt that I needed somebody that's more hungry for the business, so I got a full-timer versus a part-timer.
Right. So are they also a broker?
No, they're an employee of a broker.
Okay. So they work with a broker, so that they have access to a broker. So so basically, they're not finding you. How long have you been with this realtor?
Probably 4 months now.
Yeah, that's too long. It's time for a new one.
I didn't think of that. The last one I had for a year and a half.
Right. But see, that's the thing is so if you're working to manifest it, like if you just want to wait for something to come to you, then you can get more waiting. So let me tell you about patience. Patience means that you're standing in line. Because if you're not standing in line, what do you need to be patient about? So Correct. If you're practicing patience, you're just going to get more long lines. What it is deliberateness. That's what you want to experience now, is you deliberately want to find the place that you want, meaning that you're going to wait however long it takes, but that's not what you're focused on. So if you need a new realtor, then get a new realtor. But if you haven't found a place in 4 months, like this person makes money. Like if you were their only client, how are they eating? How are they paying their bills? How are they paying for their kids? Right. So this person's it's not their priority. I'd be sending you every house, even if it wasn't a real, like if I needed money and that wasn't the right one. How many houses are they sending you a day?
None.
Well, then there you go. You need a new realtor.
Okay.
So that's the physical aspect of it, right?
Right.
So,
and then I was thinking about the positivity thing, thinking positive into the universe.
Yeah.
I have been feeling negative. Like I've been thinking, I live in this trailer, it's falling apart. I'm not putting another dime into it. This neighborhood stinks. And I thought that's the wrong approach.
Yes, I agree.
I should be thinking more positive. We're older. I just want to get to a quieter neighborhood. This is a young neighborhood. Let's put the blame really where it is. It's just a young neighborhood. We got old.
Let me ask you, how easy was it for you to move into the place that you're in now?
It was very easy. I was 30, met him. He was 30. It was his place. And we knew we weren't going to have kids. So this trailer was fine for us. It was just beautiful for us.
So if you can remember the experience of how easy it was, just to, like, that's more I'd be putting your energy is how easy it is to move, how easy it is to get to how you're going to do you know how you're going to decorate it, what you would like to decorate it, like what colors you'd like to paint it, right? So you've picked that stuff out. So it sounds like you're at the cusp. So
I am good.
Oh, I believe you. It sounds like you've put in some work here, but now you're 16 months into looking, but still don't have. So one is, do you have are you saying, well, maybe we want a house? Are you 100% sure it's a condo?
Yes, we're both 60. He's a more wounded 60 than I am, and I know they take care of the property. We no longer want to shovel the snow. We don't want to do the grass.
For sure. Understood.
For sure.
So, and you're not interested in renting?
That's funny that you said that. He's been bringing that up lately, my husband.
So
why don't we just rent?
So do you see? So this affects him and you, and you see the mixed.
The clarity's not there with the two of us being on the same page. Absolutely.
Right.
That just started though. I'm just amazed he said that. He threw a curveball at me at Christmas.
Well, but there can be different things at different times. That it may not have just been the thing of renting, maybe he was thinking upstairs, downstairs, while you were thinking, whatever it may be, or whatever it is, maybe he wasn't ready to move. But so this is what comes into, is called co-creating. And this is creating experiences with multiple people. And this can be more difficult, but also has its benefits because it's two people or more putting out energy. And some people think it happens more rapidly or that it's easier. I don't think there's any level of ease or rapidness that has anything to do with one person or two people. I think it's just about how aligned you are. Once you're in full alignment, it's like bam, it's like a lightning rod. It's coming to you and you can feel it. You can feel the change. And so that's one of the things is about being like, knowing that it's like, start packing some stuff up. Like that would put you more into an energy.
That's more, yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Like if like how long do you think you're going to be in escrow? Happening. Exactly. How long do you think you could be in a condo in 2 to 3 weeks usually?
Yeah, especially with a big down payment, you don't have to wait that month.
So it would seem to me that, like how long you guys are in your 60s, you're going to need some time to pack anyway. Mm-hmm. So I would start. Yeah, that puts you physically into alignment, right? Start boxing stuff up. Like when you're
clearing out rubbish, there's stuff that we got to sort through and clear it out.
And you got to jump start on
move it.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's
the positive.
Yes, because knowing that that's what you would do is because you're going to find it. So that's the other switch, is knowing that you're going to find it. And then I would instead of looking at the past and being upset, I would be happy and saying all that was happening to clear out what we didn't want, to get exactly what it is that is going to be best for us, to thrive, for us to spend X amount of time that we plan on being here. Maybe this is our last home that we buy, knowing that we didn't want to look at something and say, oh, well, that looks good because we've been waiting so long. We're just going to jump. No, you're going to get absolutely was what meant for you. It's been out there. You've put it out in the universe. The universe is holding it in, I hate to say in escrow, but it's holding it in escrow for you, waiting for you.
Yes. I have to think more positive, and I got to work for it.
So, and again, it's not just positive, negative. It's about what serves you. Because sometimes you need something to be removed. That's a negative, but if that's what's serving you, then so be it. So it's really about just, yes, it is in a sense, putting a positive spin on things. It's really about putting the spin that serves you. And when I say serves you, I mean what is leading up to the outcome that you desire.
Right.
The experience that you want. Yes. Like, I mean, how big's your water heater? Are there stairs? Are there bushes? Are there flowers? Is it got a concrete steps or wooden steps? What color is the paint? Can you paint the outside? Because sometimes condos you're kind of just stuck with what it is. Does it have window? What is it? Is it eastward facing? Do you get sun in the morning? Do you get sun in the evening? Right. These are things that you can be focused on that will help you manifest exactly what it is that you want. Think about what it is like living in a house. How easy, like if you're moving, like think about, man, how did we get the bedroom set through the door? Or if you got a big piece of furniture, how did we get that through the door or up the stairs? Those are the types of things that will help you get over the little hurdle that you're in into the next point.
I can't wait. I'm excited.
Good, right?
Yeah.
Get you some boxes. Get you some packing stuff. Get you some packing tape.
Right? That'll be the start. Yeah.
And then, in addition to that, like it's recognizing. So, are you willing to go a little more if it comes in higher? What are you going to do with money if it comes in a little lower? Those are things that you can think about. Also, that would help. What it's like.
I lost 2 bids, so I'm ready for that. I will go full price, and if I have to go higher, that I learned a hard lesson from the 2 I lost.
So, and maybe that was preparation to let you know this is how you get it, and that's like Holly had mentioned earlier. She said you manifested exactly what you needed for your soul growth. So those experiences, like that's part of manifesting, and that's part of being a master, is knowing that when things don't show up, that's actually working in your favor for a reason. So if you guys
didn't feel that way at the time, but
yeah. Of course,
yeah.
But that's so as a master manifester though, is not allowing yourself to go into that feeling of I didn't get what I want when I wanted it. Well, first off, did you have a date lined up? Probably not.
No.
So for you to even have been disappointed is kind of, what are you disappointed at? You didn't say you wanted a house this week. You just thought you wanted that one. Was it perfect for you? Did you go up on the price? Did you go up on the price when you had the first?
No, I didn't.
Then it wasn't perfect for you. You would have had no problem if you knew it was the perfect one. You would have had no problem going up on the price.
Right.
You would have said, "Oh man, we're gonna have to put $50 every month extra for this, or $100 extra, and we're gonna have to go without because we want this more than any." But you also got to remember, if it's in a thriving state, you won't have to go without.
Right.
So what's perfect for you, I would say, is going to be in a thriving state. So those are a few things that you can do to bring yourself more in alignment. Now, ask yourself this: is how's that house going to make you feel? Like what here's where a lot of people fall short on, especially with something. House is all your experiences, where you're going to wake up in the morning, where you shower, where you eat, right? Where you spend time with your family. Like there's so many experiences. You want to really push through to how accommodating this house is to all of those things. And that will come into your alignment with your thriving state, because a lot of people just think of the outside and what it looks like when they pull up. That's about 30 seconds and they get out of the car and walk into the house.
Right.
So what's more important is what's it like to walk around in the house? How much space is there once your furniture's in there, right?
Right, the functionality. I already declined one of the models because I thought of me and my husband in it, and it was like, no, it shows beautiful, but it's not realistic for us. I don't want a large open floor plan. I do want a little wall space between me and him if I'm in the kitchen and banging and clanging and he's on the television. So I learned that when I thought about functionality with us two in it.
Sometimes when things are being a little away from us, you may look again to make sure that it's the right spot. You may say, oh, I like this, but maybe it's the universe is trying to say, hey, wait a minute, that's not actually the right spot for you. You think it is. Maybe there's something else comparable nearby. Mm-hmm. And that might be one of the reasons that it just knew, hey, if you just looked over here, the most perfect thing is over here. Now, if you do a comparison, you may say, you know what? No, I'm absolutely sure this is where I want. Or you might say, oh, wait a minute, there's this absolutely better place right over here. Less money, more stuff, right? And that's certainly a
Right.
possibility. So,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the thing. So when it comes to buying a house, one of the most important things you can do is your due diligence, right? So of course, looking at comps is one thing. But yeah, explore other neighborhoods is, opens up a whole, again, because now what you're doing is you're allowing the universe to work in all kinds of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And now
Okay.
what happens though is some people would say, oh, but then that's just taking you. No, you're not making a decision here. You're doing the due diligence. And that's very important. That's all you got to think of it as like, is I'm just doing the due diligence to make sure to solidify that I know this is where I want to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good ideas here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've been
how-
playing with it. So everything in my life has been manifested up until this point. Like I used to just take whatever comes at me. Life's not like that for me anymore. It's very deliberate. Like I deliberately do the things that I want to do and go the places I want to go, and not always spend the time with people that I want, because that we're open, and it's not just me being manipulative to, oh well, this is what I'm doing. If you want to have anything to do with me, you got to do it on my terms. I'm open.
right,
Right.
right.
Especially with family and friends.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
so I hope that's some stuff to get you set foot. And listen, and if in 3 weeks you haven't seen any kind of change or gotten, again, look for, if your guy's not sending you stuff, we at least at every few days or at least once a week. Yeah, you need a new realtor. That guy's doing nothing for you.
Okay. Yeah.
And if he says,
Good
"Oh,
idea.
there's no places," then yeah, exactly. He's not a good realtor. Trust me.
Right.
Good realtor. I know the area that you're in. There's tons of stuff, and it's a buyer. It's a seller and a buyer's market right now. So
Mm-hmm.
there's plenty
Okay.
of stuff out there.
Yeah. I like the deliberate. That's a good word. Deliberate.
Love and light. Thanks, Debbie. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you so much.
Have a wonderful night.
You too.
All right. Ciao. Nice. All right. So I still got these numbers up, and if anybody else like to call in anything that you guys want to work through that you may not be, listen, if you say, hey man, I want a Bentley, call me up. I'll tell you how to get one. I'll tell you how to own one. I'll show you how to own one. But remember, you're going to have to change your life to get one if you don't already have one. Or if you got a really cool story, hit me up. 609-288-2709. I'm going to take a little second, do a little self-plug here. Let me turn this music down. Check us out at awakenaware.com. A-W-A-K-E, the letter N, AWARE.com. And got some new merch there. Got tons of new merch coming up. I've been up all night, as usually. Before I do the show, I'm always up the night before. Dropping it. I'm about to open an apothecary. We're going to have green groceries, green products, natural products, homeopathic products, and wellness products, and all kinds of things that are to make your life easier. I know you guys are out here living conscious lives, and I'm going to bring you stuff that will help you smell good, feel good, look good, live good, and be in a wellness state. Things that you won't be able to find in different places. It's going to be at awakenaware.com. So right now we got coffee. Got 8 flavors of coffee, 8 different flavors of coffee from all over the world. And they're rated the best coffees in the world. Freshly roasted. That means they have all the oil in them still. It's the best tasting coffee you probably ever had in your life. We fresh roast it and deliver it directly to your door. Ground in however you like. And then we've got Awaken Wear gear. Right? Stuff that you can't find. Let people know that you're conscious. Be in a conscious state. Everything that I make and design is designed with love. And I use geometry that is alignment with good numbers, good vibrations, good words, good sizing, all different kinds of things. I like to keep everything in a high vibrational state. So if you buy anything from me, you'll feel it. You'll know that it was built and made with love. So there's plenty of Awaken Wear stuff for guys and women. Got t-shirts, got hats, got yoga pants, and got tons more coming. And hopefully within the next week we'll have 20,000 more products on the website. So I hope you guys check that out. So also got new merch, got a new shirt. I don't have a graphic for it, but you can check it out. It's the More shirt. More love, more happiness, more joy, more all the good stuff. And designed that last night. I'm in love with it. I got a couple orders already. So All right. So if nobody else is going to hit me up, I'll wait a couple more seconds to see if anybody's going to call. And I just want to say thank you very much for all the people who did come through and just show me some love, even if you just dropped by and said hi. I super appreciate you joining the show tonight. This is Awake and Aware. Go ahead and take these numbers down. And manifest your best reality. Think about what that would feel like. You know, I like to use this little tool called the perfect feeling thought, PFT, right? What's that feel like? Like, what is your perfect feeling thought? Like for me, right now, my perfect feeling thought, like it just took me a second because I practiced this, would be sitting on a deck of a friend's yacht, right? Catching some sun, fishing for large tuna outside the Bahamas, or actually outside the Biminis. Nice wooden teak deck. Just, you know, that's a perfect feeling thought for me right now. Like that would feel really good, is to be out in the sunlight and be able to dive in and crystal clear water and see fish. You know, I actually don't even catch anything. I'm just out here to enjoy the peacefulness. That's a perfect feeling thought for me right now. Allowing me to think about that, like, allows me to now think about the next things that would bring me into alignment with my perfect feeling thought, my highest vibrational self. Getting into a high vibrational state would be a good time for me to now sit down and be able to manifest something. Just want to point out that Mercury went back. It's no longer out. It's not in retrograde. It's now gone direct. I felt a little residuals of it today. Like I didn't feel much of it over the past week, but I definitely felt some residuals today from the very end of the tail, like the tail whip of that. You know, so we're moving it. We're coming into finishing up Aquarius and coming into March. So that's Piscean energy. So we're going from an air state to a water state coming up. You know, and we're in the Aquarian age, which is super beneficial to manifesting. So you guys that are out there working manifesting, you should have already felt it. You should already recognize that, like, your creative abilities have been amplified. If you're in alignment with yourself, if you know who you are, let me back up for a second. One of the things that you can do to increase your manifesting abilities, your creating powers, is to know who you are. All spiritual systems, I believe, the basis of them is knowing yourself. Know thyself. The more time you get into realizing who and what you will accept, what you won't do, what you're willing to where you're willing to go or not go, or what you're willing to sacrifice or compromise, is very important to getting clear about what you want. Brian said, thank you. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate you for calling in. Tish, thank you for joining the show. I'm glad that you guys got something out of it. Wonderful comments tonight. I hope you guys are manifesting your best selves, your highest selves, your highest vibrational selves. Listen, you don't have to have all the things. It's not always about money. It's not always about the car or the house or even the other person. Just joy, happiness. Manifest those in your life. For me, I tend to think of abundance, prosperity, and wealth. Those are the three things that I like to have. Love it. Holly Rose says, auspicious time for collective manifestation. Absolutely it is. This is exactly that. There are forces in the universe like full moons, gravity, the force of love. We talked about that last week, that help manifesting. There's so many different things, and I'll do an advanced manifestation or an advanced co-creating class. Actually, if anybody's got some interest in that, I'll put some stuff up and have some people have some interest. And we'll actually do a class where we can spend a little bit more time hands-on, where we can develop some skills where you can really get what you want. You know, anybody who spent any time with me has seen it. Like, I affect the reality around me, you know, to the point of where I'm not just manifesting things. I'm manifesting everything, not everything, but I'm affecting everything around me because my frequency is manifesting. My reality expects certain things. And so as I walk around, my apron, I like to call it my apron because it's around me. It surrounds me. It's my bubble. How about that? My bubble turns reality to match my expectations, my willpower. Some people don't enjoy that. Some people don't like to be in other people's willpower. But that's part of manifesting. That's how you start to fall into the friend groups that you have or the job experiences that you want. It's why I work for myself, not for somebody else. I'm put my foot down and say, I'm not willing to do that anymore in my life. And I'm better off for it. Now I'm more in alignment with myself than I was working for somebody else. It's been 7 years since I worked for somebody else. And I couldn't be happier. And I knew about the law of attraction then, and I used it to the best of my ability. If you're looking for a job, you can use the law of attraction to find the perfect job for you. Don't put limitations on it. Put stipulations on it. All right, guys, it's been a wonderful night. It's 10 o'clock. I'm going to close this up. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and roll these credits again. And thanks a lot. It's been a wonderful show. I'm up.